So today's daily move, I'm super excited. We're working with Doug Decker. He is a coach and owner of Vertical Limit Fitness. He coaches in functional training. He's super knowledgeable. He's coached me before and I've loved his classes. And he's also certified in the FMS, which is a functional movement screen. So we know he's gonna make sure that you know what you're doing when we're moving. He's gonna give me a quick workout today to see what it is they do here at Vertical Limit. So, Doug?
Absolutely. So, something that's really crucial about all these movements that we do, we like compound movements. We like to make sure that our movements tie into everybody's daily needs and their functions. We want to help you guys function and move better every day, even outside of the gym or outside of your exercise classes for whatever you might have. Flexibility and mobility are important, but technique is the most important, so we want to make sure that you move safely first. After that, we're going to talk about the 6 basic movement patterns: the push, the pull, the lift, the hinge, the squat, and the lunge. Today's movements are going to cover all of those.
Perfect. So, where are we starting?
All right, we're going to start with the basic air squat today. Great thing I like about all these movements I'm going to show you is that they can increase in difficulty as you move better and the stronger you get. You'll be able to add weight to a kettlebell, a dumbbell, a barbell, but we're going to start with the basic body movements today. First one's going to be a basic air squat. Here's what I'm going to have you do. Go ahead and set your feet up a little bit outside of your shoulder width. If you don't know exactly where that is, put your thumbs on your shoulders, and you want your feet to be about where your elbows are. It's a good lineup. Turn your toes out slightly. A lot of people like to have them straight forward. We want to have a little range of motion in those knees. All right, bring your hands down. We're going to put our hands in front of us. We're going to squeeze our buns, and we're going to flex our belly with a big belly breath in. At that point, we're going to take our hips and sit them backwards. Press your knees out and get low. And stop, and up with the knees out again. Perfect. We're going to do another one. We always lead with the hip. Push the knees out, and then we sit with our chest and torso upright. And up, and rest. Great first movement. You can add to that again with dumbbells, as you'll see, and kettlebells, as you see. There's always a way to increase the difficulty. But an air squat is a fabulous test of range of motion, leg strength, core mobility. All right, next movement's gonna be the hinge and lift, if you will. We're gonna do deadlifts, but we're gonna do them in a little bit different way than most people do. A lot of people think of deadlifts in heavy barbell. We're gonna do them with a band. Pretty straightforward. It also allows us to be in good position. All you're gonna do is take a band, step on it with both feet. Go ahead and double up that band for me. Yep, double up that band, step on that band, and just stand up right now any way you want. You're gonna have tension on that band. It's a great piece about that. Go ahead and turn sideways, it's gonna help right there, good. All right, in this position, we're gonna pull our shoulders back and down. We're gonna show off the front of your shirt. That's what that does. It shows off the shirt like you're Superman or Wonder Woman. At this point, we're gonna get into that hip hinge again. Before he starts hip hinging, I want him to think about keeping his hands in line with his legs. We don't want our hands to float forward. So he's gonna sit his butt back. As he sits his butt back, he's gonna keep his hands by his legs, and he's gonna slightly bend his knees as comfortable. Go ahead, sit back, sit back, sit back. Let those knees bend comfortably. Keep sitting back, arms stay straight. He's just gonna go down about mid-shin till he loses tension. At this point, stop. One thing I wanna correct on him is he's gonna drop his head. We wanna have a straight spine from tailbone to cervical spine here. It's gonna keep him solid and safe in this movement. At this point, he's gonna stand straight up, bring his hips through and stand his legs straight. One solid, easy movement. Hip hinge back for me. Show off the front of your shirt, but keep your head neutral. Hands stay by the legs. He's gonna sit down to about right there where he's at about a 90-degree angle. He's parallel to the floor now. As he lifts his shoulders up, he's gonna straighten out his legs and his hips. Go. Do one more for me without my coaching. Let me see what you got. It's a controlled motion, and up, and rest. Great thing about this banded deadlift, it can be done, again, with dumbbells, with kettlebells, any which way you want to perform it. It's actually called a suitcase deadlift. It's a great piece.
This feels safe, which is good.
Thank you. Yes, sir. All right, so we just talked about the hip hinge and the deadlift, the suitcase deadlift. So now what we're gonna talk about is one of my favorite moves of all time to do, and anybody can do it in any form or fashion. It's a straight heavy carry. Farmer's carry is one way to do it. A front rack carry is one way to do it. A heavy sandbag or ball or box up at your chest is another way to do it. Lots of variations of this. Very safe, but it works the whole body. Since we just covered that deadlift, we're gonna work with the suitcase deadlift with kettlebells. So you're gonna put your feet between it. You're gonna sit your hips back, just like the deadlift you just did. Head is neutral, grab the kettlebells and stand up nice and tight with a strong core. At this piece, now if he were doing a workout, he would just walk. He's gonna take 3 steps forward or 3 steps back. You stay tight, turn, and walk back. Turn and walk back. Stop there. When you go to set the kettlebells down, you're gonna do a deadlift, reverse deadlift. Hips go back, hands stay by your legs, spine stays neutral. Set them down to where you're rested and rest. Farmer's carry, you can pick anything up and walk with it. The heavier it is and the further distance you go, the better. However, if you start to find yourself rounding your back out when you're carrying at this piece, or if you start to sag your hips down a little bit like this, we're getting out of position. We want to rest until we can go straight, solid, and tall again. Thank you. All right, guys, so we've covered the basic air squat. We've covered the hip hinge. We've covered the lift. We've covered a nice carry, which is just still one of the most foundational things you could ever do as a carry. Now we're gonna cover a lunge position. This is a little bit different than a basic lunge. A lot of times people have knee issues or hip issues and they can't get down into the lunge position and up. So one way we modify that is by giving them a box. All right, so he's gonna stand on the side of this box. He's just gonna put one foot up. He's gonna make sure his whole foot is on the box. Whole foot's on the box. We're gonna lean into this heel, lean forward a little bit and press himself up nice and tall. Bring the other foot all the way up. He's gonna reverse that same leg down and bring the other leg back down. One thing to think about before we switch legs, in all of these things, we wanna think about having good intra-abdominal pressure. That's a big nose breath into that belly. We wanna have that core tight. It's gonna support our spine. It's gonna support everything that we're doing. It's gonna also give us good balance. We're gonna switch legs. Big belly breath in, whole foot's on the box. He's gonna drive up off the heel as best as he can, push himself to the top, and then reverse that step down. You can do these on stairs. The higher the box, the more difficult it's gonna be, but it's a great low impact movement to get you a good lunge position, and it also gives you some single leg work at the same time. We got the lifts, we got squats, we got hinge, we got lunge. We even have a pull, and that lift is also a pull as well. So now we're gonna work our push. The basic, easiest thing to do is a push-up. However, a lot of people don't have the range of motion or the strength to do a full plank push-up. So here's an easy modification you can do on a wall. We're gonna do it again on a box. He's gonna go ahead and line up with his feet away from the box. He's gonna bend over and get his hands on the box on the outside edges if he can. From this piece, he's gonna extend his legs back into the best plank he can give me. You can easily modify this movement by bringing his legs in a little bit. It's just gonna take off some of the pressure in your arms and upper body. Go ahead and get those legs long for me again. At this piece, what I like about having a narrower box is he's gonna keep his arms in by his side. We'll rotate here in a minute and let you see what I mean by that. He's just gonna let himself slowly lower to the box. You notice his elbows go back at his side here. We want that. We don't want them flaring out. At this piece, he's gonna push himself straight up. He's gonna do one more for me. Another thing to notice is his hands are lining up about where his armpit is. They're not up here by his ears. Go ahead and push yourself back up. Stay there, hold that. You notice he's in a nice rigid plank. Again, tight belly, tight buns, solid straight legs. Go ahead and drop down again. His head is staying neutral and push up, and he's pushing up. Again, rest. This can be brought up to a wall, and then you can take it all the way down to a floor in a plank position. What I wanna show you real quickly is when he lines up like this, go ahead and face this way, sir, so you can see your arms. His hands are gonna be narrow on this box, so when he goes back, go ahead and go down for me. His arms stay in. You can see they're not flaring. Go ahead and flare them out. This is gonna be bad shoulder positioning. Put them back in, hands by his armpits. Go ahead and drive up. Gives him that stretch that we want in that push in the pec muscle.
So as you can see, vertical limit it's different. It's functional training, which is compound movements. And those are the type of movements we're gonna use whenever we're doing everyday life. You have to pick things up. You have to put things up in places. And this is the type of training that's gonna get you better at that versus just working one muscle at a time. I love this type of fitness, and this has been a good workout for me. You can do a few rounds of these if you want to get started, but if you're interested in learning more about it, then I know a good trainer right here. So Doug, where can we find you?
So Vertical Limit Fitness right now, we're on 71st and Trenton. The great thing is by the time you see this video, I'm probably moving into a new space. I'm gonna be in West Main Street off of Highway 75. It's in the old Sutherland's building is what it would be.
Cool. Any social media anymore?
Social media, absolutely. So I have a Vertical Limit Fitness page on Facebook. I'm Vertical Doug 1 on Instagram. I have a tweet account, but you rarely hear from me on there, so check me out on Instagram.
All right, and thanks again, Doug. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.